Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our goal is to pack as much informative information into this session as possible. My name is Stephanie Mozillo. I am a member of the marketing team here at NEAT, and I will be your presenter for this webinar. Just a few housekeeping items to get us started. This webinar will last roughly 40 minutes. It will be recorded, and you will receive the recording via email, as well as we will be posting it to NEAT's YouTube channel. If you have any questions throughout the session, please enter them into the question box. I'll be sure to get back to you within 2 to 3 business days. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time for a live Q&A at the end of this. And also at the end of this webinar, I will review ways for you to get in touch with customer service and support for outstanding questions. We will begin today with some high-level information about NEAT, what we do, and where we're headed. And then I'm going to jump right into a live demo of our cloud application and going in particular into our integration with QuickBooks. So let's get started. Our main priority at NEAT is to help you get back to what matters. We understand how busy a small business owner or employee can be, and our main focus is finding ways to simplify your life so that you can focus on the most important tasks to you and your business. We like to look at this in 3 different stages. The first is documents organized. The second is data utilized, and the third is business simplified. And in one second, I just got a message. I hope that's better. I got a message that there were some issues with the sound. So what we like to do is help capture and securely store, find, and enable you to share your documents. With the documentation, it then utilizes the data for you so you can track expenses, run reports, prepare for taxes and things like that in a better way that suits you and your business. And lastly, we're then saving you time and money by helping you eliminate steps in certain processes. A little bit about NEAT. We are headquartered in Philadelphia, and we were founded in 2002. We are a leader in cloud-based multi-platform solutions. We're looking to improve workflows and expense and document management. Currently, the NEAT system is comprised of 3 pieces. It includes a mobile app, a web application, and a cloud-based desktop application. These 3 products are slightly different, but they do all sync and send the same information up and down. And that just enables you to have access from anywhere and at any time depending on your current situation. What's even more exciting though, and this is something I really want to touch base on with you all today, is the future of NEAT and where we're headed. We as a company made a strategic decision to shift away from hardware and to focus entirely on our cloud application and focusing on automating key accounting, bookkeeping, and other business processes. So you may be familiar with NEAT scanners. You may even have a NEAT Receipts, a NEAT Desk, or a NEAT Connected Home. And those are they still work. They're still working with the system, but we made the decision to no longer develop our own scanners. But with that, we have enabled our software to work with third-party scanners. And I'll get into that a little bit in a few minutes. I just want to go over some quick NEAT features. What you see here on the screen and what I'll discuss a little bit is what we see as our top features and what are used the most by our current customers. So first is mobile, and that is the ability to use NEAT on the go and with your phone. NEAT is compatible with Android and iOS, and it's essentially allowing you to utilize the camera on your phone to turn that into a scanner. Secondly, it's easy access, and I mentioned this a few minutes ago. This is that you can access NEAT from anywhere at any time. And so it's just allowing you to have access to your files, be able to edit, share, etc. as you go through a busy day and maybe in or out of the office. Third is organization. With NEAT, you do get unlimited storage and unlimited organization. So this is a big feature that's different within Neat compared to other competitors in that you can have unlimited documents and unlimited document types within our system. Our security is top of the line. It is bank level security, SSL encryption up and down. And so you can rest assured that your information within our cloud product is fully safe. Next, I just want to touch base a little bit on expenses and reporting. And this is a place where Neat really got started as an expense report option. And we'll go into that in the demo to just show you how you can make different expense reports, spending summaries, and tax summaries so that you can manage your finances a little more closely. We'll also get into the integration, specifically that of QuickBooks, but I will touch base and show you just a few of the other integrations that we do have. And lastly, something we refer to as in-document identification technology. That is Neat's proprietary parsing technology, and that is the engine behind everything that we do. So that's what pulls the important data off of your documents and stores it into our system for you so that you can then make use of that data. Just a few key points about what Neat is doing for you and the typical tasks that we might be able to help with. And it's essentially eliminating steps and time in the following processes: transaction processing, spend tracking, expense reimbursement processing, data and document retention, and tax preparedness and audit compliance. So if you are currently or plan to be doing any of this within your small business, this is definitely something that Neat can help you with. And just to illustrate the value a little bit, I wanted to provide a couple Neat statistics. First of all, we have 77% of our entire user base who are utilizing Neat every single day. So they may be scanning documents in every day, they may be editing documents, sending them over to their expense platform or their accounting platform. Whatever it may be, there is a value in utilizing the product, and our customers are seeing that they're using it every single day. We have an average of 200,000, a little over 200,000 items that are added daily. We have almost 200,000 items that have been sent to other applications, and that can include QuickBooks, but that can also include some of our CRM and marketing systems like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact. And lastly, we have about 7,900 reports that on average are created monthly. And that could be an expense report, a spending summary, a tax report, etc. Now, I'm going to give you some interesting statistics here that we pulled from several surveys and some research that we did internally. And this is to further illustrate the value of what you can get out of Neat and what it can provide for you. So first of all, we found that it costs on average $20 to file a paper document. It costs $12 to locate a misfiled document and $22 to reproduce a document. So with Neat, it's just enabling you to never lose those documents. You don't have to worry about locating it or reproducing it. Here's a bit more information on the cost of filing and storing paper documents. A lot of times you may not be considering what this actually does to your bottom line, but in this case you're looking at $70 per year just for a single filing cabinet. And then when you break it down a little bit further, you're looking at another $32 of a cabinet cost, $71 in square foot space that you're taking up, $335 in indirect costs. So that's the supplies, the boxes, the paper clips that you are required to use just to store these paper documents within your office. $433 to have someone manage those documents and take care of them. And lastly, you're looking at over $1,000 for a file clerk. Similarly, the cost of expense reporting is expensive too. So our research showed us that the average expense report is costing you $29. So with NEAT, you pay your one annual fee, and then that's taking place of every $29 fee of expense reporting that you may have. So I've talked a lot about what it costs you without NEAT, and I just want to touch base on our pricing. Our current pricing for an annual subscription per user is as you see it here. So Essential, which is our lowest version, is $79.99 a year. Premium is $120 a year, and Business is $250 a year. Something to point out, the Essential platform does not include the integrations with QuickBooks. So that may not apply to you moving forward, but Premium and Business do include or have the option to include those variations. You can find all of this information on our website, specifically finding a breakdown of the plan comparisons. And if we have time at the end, I can go into that a little bit more. So I'm going to jump right into the live demo now. I'm going to switch my screens over. So this is the NEAT Cloud app, and I simply got here by going to cloud.neat.com. If you have an existing subscription, you have access to this. It's no additional cost it's just included in the subscription cost. And if you don't and you are choosing to re-up with NEAT or get started with NEAT for the first time, then you will get started with access to this. So I'm going to sign into my existing account here. And this is going to take me to the home screen. So I like to start by breaking this out into sections when I do a demo, and I think that's a very intuitive way to look at the product. So if you look at the left side here, this is what I refer to as your folder tree. So this is where all of your documents are going to be stored. What you can see here is that this will show you where the items came into. With that said, you are able to scan directly into a folder, but if you don't know what folder it needs to go into or you haven't designated it yet, then you can certainly just get it right into the NEAT system. And this designates the different ways that it can come in. So you can email in directly to NEAT, and I will touch base on where you can locate your NEAT email address. This is great if you have automated e-receipts that come through. So I, for example, get any of my shopping receipts sent directly to my email so that I don't have any paper. And what I've done is instead of using my personal email address, I've used my NEAT Cloud email address. And so these receipts all go automatically into NEAT, and I'm just eliminating a step by doing that. And so that would be stored here. This is where it would come in if you scan in directly from your NEAT scanner. This would be if you take a picture with your cell phone, and this would be if you pull something down from the web or import. And if you were to be using a third-party scanner, that would show up here as another option. Then you have your cabinet, and what's great about the cabinet is it's completely unlimited in the number of folders that you can have. The storage is also unlimited, so you don't have to worry about hitting a point where you cannot scan in additional documents, or you don't have to worry about additional charges that may hit you after the fact when you're using NEAT. And what you can see here is, I generally do 1 to 2 levels, but you can continue to add down here. And to create a new folder, you would simply choose here, choose folder, name it. Even once I'm in here, I can move it. So I can put it under this one here. I can leave it under the top level. If anyone were to share a folder with you, it would show up down here. Something to point out about shared folders is you can view them, but you are unable to edit them or change the information. The center here is where the grid is. So this is where you can get a high-level breakdown of all of the documents that you have within NEAT. So for the sake of this, I'm going to sort it by just an individual folder. So by clicking this folder button here, it opens me up to just the items that are within that folder. Here you can see the different item types that you're able to scan in, and you can also see the breakdown here. So Neat will take in receipts, documents, contacts, invoices, statements and bills, checks, recipes, and then this would be your folder for if anything's currently in the processing state, you could filter there and it would show up there. If you click into one of these items, what you're going to get is a further breakdown. So this is your image viewer over here to the right. You can zoom in and zoom out. And this was an item that was, a photo was taken with a phone, it was scanned in. It automatically parsed, Neat automatically parsed all of the information from here up. So it, from the title, from the vendor, pulled out what the category was. It was able to locate the payment type that I used, as well as the receipt date, and then total and sales tax had there been any. Now this is without Neat Verify, which is our third party, which is an outsourced product that just guarantees you 100% accuracy of your product. So if I wanted to Neat Verify this and guarantee that the data is 100% accurate, then I would simply click this Neat Verify button. And I can send through to Neat Verify. So this is human verification. There's 2 to 3 individuals that will review this information and input the correct data should the OCR have read it incorrectly. It's completely optional, so if for security reasons or other reasons you do not want this going through to Neat Verify, you just simply would keep it turned off and you would not send anything through to there. The bottom half here is all additional optional information that you can put in. And what you can see is there's information like project and client, class, location, and product. These fields really apply to QuickBooks, so I'll be sure to get into that in a few more minutes. I'm going to back out of this receipt, and I want to find an invoice for you so you can see the differences of what pulls in. Now, this is currently a locked item, which means I cannot edit it. When items are sent to QuickBooks, they are locked. But you can still see the fields that we pull off of this invoice. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. So for example, the total is $409.38, and that's what it did pull out as the total amount here. It will also get invoice number, PO number, account number, and so on and so forth, as you can see down this line, if it does exist on the invoice. If that information is not on the invoice, that is not an issue. There won't be anything to pull. But it is great to have all these additional fields because some invoices may have all of that information. Now, what you can see up here is other options that you can do with this invoice. So you can move the folder. And that would be me simply moving it there. As I mentioned, you can send it to Neat Verify. You can email this document out. And this information will be sent here. It's automated and added in here, so it'll be sent to the recipient. You can add additional information, and then you can choose where it comes from. You can also download this and export it to your desktop or to another drive that you may need to. And then this is where you would send it to QuickBooks Online, or you can delete it. So I'm going to back out of here. Now, here's one more thing I wanted to show you is if you wanted to create expense reports, you would simply choose the document that you want to use, choose the folder that you want to use, and choose this report button. So that will go ahead and create that report for you. And here's what the finished product will be. So I had named this document title. It will give you a summary sheet here with your total amount, the number of documents per category. And then it's going to give you a larger grid view with more details here. So this will pull in the vendor, the category, receipt date, payment type, your total again, and then any additional information that you may have put in here with comments. And then it's going to attach every receipt that is part of this expense report. So that's the basics of the NEAT system and what you can do with NEAT even before you're using the accounting integrations. Just a couple more high-level items that I want to show you here. These are your settings, and as I mentioned earlier, every account gets a NEAT Cloud email address, so it's your username at neatcloud.com. And this is just a great added feature to eliminate a middle step or the middleman. You can email items directly into the system, and then they can be reviewed here. So now I want to get into the integrations and specifically get into QuickBooks. So here's some other activation services that NEAT does offer. But what we really want to get into is accounting here. So as you can see, I'm already connected to QuickBooks Online. And to connect, it's a simple prompt. You would just use your QuickBooks username and password to log in. Once I've connected, I am then given all of these categories up top in order to map information. Vendor, category, and payment are required to map and to enable you to send information over to QuickBooks. Employee would be if you're handling reimbursable expense reports or expenses through QuickBooks. You would have to assign an employee and how that payment's going to be made. And then lastly, project, class, location, and product are additional features that we've added recently as categories with the integration. They are not required to be used, but it is a great feature if you as your business or if you have clients that you're helping with accounting needs, if they use any of these. So what you'll see here once you click into one of these top categories is, this is vendor mapping, for example. So everything on the left side is going to be any vendor that was ever parsed off of a document. And then on the right side is going to be your vendors that exist in QuickBooks. Now these vendors would have to already exist on the QuickBooks side for them to show up here. So generally this does become a one-time setup if you're using the same vendors over and over again, but should you have a new vendor, you may just have to come back in here and map that. So as you can see, I'm just going to choose 2 for an example. And now these are mapped directly to what I chose. These which were previously mapped, I can go in here and change this as well. So you can see that changed. I can always revert it to something else or revert back to what I had. And that's as simple as it is to map different vendors and other categories within NEAT. From a category standpoint, you are going to get the NEAT categories that already exist within the system, but keep in mind that you can always create new categories on the NEAT side. So for example, you'll see that these 2 at the bottom here I had created for testing purposes. So of course Stephanie and Trade Show were not original categories within NEAT, but I was able to simply create them. So if I want to change the mapping of these, I can go in here, hit save, and it pushes it through. From a payment standpoint, this is, again, on the left side here is going to be any payment option that has ever been parsed from a receipt or invoice or even a document that you've brought into NEAT. So you can see it's generally credit cards, but you could have GL accounts. You could have different payment accounts that fit within here. And then again, it's the simple mapping on this side. So I had these all mapped to Visa. I'll just show you that I can change these couple. And then here's the information if you needed to set up employees to be reimbursed. And as you can see over here, there's a little note. Your employees are currently set to be reimbursed as employees in QuickBooks Online. To change this, you would have to go to your general accounting settings. So I do not use project, class, location, and product, but these are 4 additional items that you could utilize from a mapping standpoint. If you are an existing Neat subscriber and these items are not showing up for you, just these last 4 here, there will be an option that should show up right down here that says Enable Enhanced Accounting Settings. So if these are of interest to you and you're not seeing them on your screen, please make sure that you've enabled them. If you have any further issues, just throw them in the question box and I'll be sure to follow up with you. So that is all you have to do from a QuickBooks standpoint in mapping the information. So what we can do is go back out here to an accounting demo, to a folder here. And what I wanted to show you before moving on is how you can add additional categories. So I simply add new, hit test, add, and now that's a category. And now this will show up, even if I try to create a new receipt, that will show up for all new. Okay. So let's say that I want to send this item to QuickBooks Online. Now, one of 2 things is going to happen. If everything is mapped properly, there will be a notification that this information was mapped, and then you would go over to the QuickBooks side to review it. So in this case, everything was properly mapped, and as you can see, it's now locked. And this is just because Neat doesn't want to be your accounting system of record. We prep and prepare the data for you to work within your accounting systems, but we want to lock it on this end just so that if you have other users within the system, they cannot affect the product as it stands and pushing it over to QuickBooks Online. So let's see now if we can try and send this. And this is what you will get if it has not been properly mapped. So it's a quick pop-up, unable to send to QuickBooks Online, and it will explain to you why. So I must have never set mapping for this vendor. So I'm going to go back out to where the mapping was. Choose vendors. I'll define win here. There we are. I'm going to map this. Now, when I go back out to the accounting demo and try to send this through, this should now properly send. There is no limit to the amount of documents that you can send to QuickBooks. You can send more than one at once. I could send this whole folder. You can only send receipts and invoices. So as you can see, these 2 in this demo are business cards. It's just not going to show up as an option because it reads that it's a business card. It's only going to show up for the email marketing tools that I can send it to. But let's just try sending this last one through. And as I don't believe this is properly mapped, this may not send directly. Okay. Now I want to switch over to QuickBooks Online so you can see how this renders on that side. So just to recall, this was the information from Dirty Water Restaurant and Bar that was sent through. Total amount, currency, sales tax, I have category and payment type maps. I did not have class location and product maps. So if I go in here, I believe it was mapped to my MasterCard. So that should show up in here. So here's that item that I just sent through. You can click into it here. You'll see that it pulled the total amount in. It pulled the payment date. It pulls a description and any other information that you may have added. So had I put a location in here, that would be here. Had I added a class, it would be here. And now at this time, if you wanted to make any edits to this, you can do this directly within QuickBooks. So you're not completely locked, you're just locked on the Neat side. Now, something that I wanted to point out, there will always be a memo that comes through here, and it will always say sent from Neat, so you have tracking. And it is always going to auto-attach the receipt image for you. So I did not upload this myself. This came through directly. And what's great about this is that this is IRS accepted, so if there was an issue with an audit and you needed to quickly find a receipt, you would have it stored on the Neat side, but you would also have it stored within QuickBooks. So that is the basic steps and process of the QuickBooks integration. As you can see here, there are several other integrations. And we will be sure to run webinars on these as well as the other accounting connections. There is a couple things that I wanted to point out before we go about the basics of connecting with us and getting support. So something that Neat recently added is what we refer to as the action bar. So this is essentially on-demand support within the app that you can get. So let's say I want information on connecting to QuickBooks. I'm going to click here. And it's going to then take me through a step tutorial process on how to do it. So similarly, if I wanted to create an expense report, it's going to follow you through the steps on how to do this. So as it gets to my cabinet, create a report, and then from here, it would back you back out and allow you to make it. So it just helps you get to certain areas that you would like to within Neat and may have issues finding. Something else is that we do have universal keyword search. Because we OCR and parse every word and every number on a document, it will be searched within here. So let's say I want to find anything that pertains to Starbucks. It's going to pull anything that has the word Starbucks, whether it's from the vendor. See, as you can see, this was a Hilton receipt, but they must have had a Starbucks within. Yep, sure enough, they did. So as you can see, they had a market, they had a Starbucks market within the hotel. And so even though the vendor was not set to Starbucks, it still pulls that out. In addition to the information that you can get directly in-app as far as support goes, we have recently launched a video training center. So this is directly from our website. I just went to neat.com under support and video training center. And from here, you can choose what application you're using. So I just reviewed the web app with you, so I can click in here. And then you would be able to find, these are live videos of information that might be helpful to you. And then lastly, if you do have a Neat subscription, there is phone and email support, and you can find that information here. So that concludes our webinar today. I'm going to leave my contact information up here. Please feel free to follow up with me if you have any additional questions or anything else that I can help with. As I mentioned, this was recorded, and so we will send that out via email. It will also be available on our YouTube channel, as will all of our future webinars. And there was a contest that we ran as part of this webinar where we're giving away Amazon gift cards to participants in a pre-webinar survey. I have chosen the winners for that, and I will be following up with you directly via email. So thanks again for joining us. I hope that this was very helpful and very informative to you. We'll be sure to follow up with any future webinars, and we hope that you join us again in the future. Thank you.